Yeah. Welcome to this week's program of the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. I'm excited this week because we're trying to roll out a new solution for communication within our club. We're going to roll out Slack as one of the ways that we communicate with our club, and we're trying to foster a additional connectiveness to a very distributed club. And part of that is using Slack as a way to communicate informally and really truthfully cut out some of that email. So with that, I have Sandy and Ferheen here today, and we're looking forward to talking to you about the what it is, why we're talking about it, how to register, and taking you through everything, and then answering a few questions, and hopefully inspiring everybody to join us in our new Slack journey. So first, what is Slack? Slack is, to summarize what's on their website, it's a chat room, similar to other ways of communicating. It's like an instant message or a text, and it's designed to replace email as an internal communication. It definitely doesn't replace email communicating externally. It does allow for what they call workspaces. I often hear referred to as channels, and those channels allow you to communicate by different groups depending on what you need, and allows you to do private messages where for instance, Ferheen and I might send a joke back and forth to one another. And it also allows for connecting different pieces like a Google Drive, which is something that we use as a club to have files like Google Documents and stuff like that, and allows for all of that in one place. And then, if needed, you can look back on the history of all of that communication, and it really provides a lot of opportunity for us to maintain continuity.
And so you may be wondering, why Slack? I mean, again, as Nick mentioned, we already have email and we have a Facebook group. So what's the point of doing this Slack thing? And I know that, again, many of you are going to have this question, but I hope this presentation convinces you that Slack is the perfect tool to help stay connected with each other. So again, so the first thing, why Slack? Connection. Not everyone has a Facebook, but everyone can use Slack. So this Slack channel is completely private to just our club. The other thing is that it's really easy to communicate with only eClub members. Each club member will be given access to this Slack channel or this Slack workspace. And so let's say you want to message someone you've never messaged before in the club. Instead of having to find their email somewhere, all you do is you search up their name and you message them directly via Slack. The other thing is that Slack is really private. Anything you post on Slack will only be for Slack members. So for example, as you probably know, Facebook is kind of personal, right? I mean, maybe you post specific things that may not necessarily you want other people that are eClub members to see. And, if you're already kind of on Facebook, that becomes very, very public. So instead, Slack will be specifically only for Rotary business. And then finally, Slack is really simple. We're really excited to, again, show you how simple it is. And it's really user-friendly. So going back to Nick.
Absolutely. So we're going to show you the how. And part of that is I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to walk through. I'm going to invite a new member. And that new member is me, just for setup purposes. And it is always one of those things where when you are a manager of the Slack, you can invite new people to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. And so it's recsv/slack@gmail.com is our new member. And I'm going to give them Nick's test Slack account.
And make sure to invite Sandy too.
Exactly. And this is where I did not prepare for her email. So Sandy, if you don't mind putting your email. Hold on one sec.
You're muted, Sandy.
I'll get it. I actually have it. Hold on one moment.
And also for the club members that are listening, you have to be invited in order to use Slack. So you can't just go onto our Slack workspace and attempt to, go inside. So before this recording, we will have invited every single member. And if you haven't received that email, please let us know.
So I'm going to send Sandy the invite, and I'm going to send it to me as well, and sending the invitations. Oh, so Sandy, you actually have already gotten an invite. We'll actually help you with recovering your login, which is also a really great thing to learn about. So we'll go and do the registration first, and then we'll help Sandy recover her account. So I'm going to sign out here because I'm going to sign in as a new person. And look, I've gotten my, Nick has invited me to join the Slack workspace. We have, it's the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. It's, you can click join now, which is very exciting.
And Sandy, if you can, go ahead and do a search through your email to find that email. So I believe I was the one who invited you many, many months ago.
Yeah, and I would say look for the word Slack and workspace. Probably that's the best way to do.
Yep.
So I've clicked on it. I can change my name. Maybe I put in Sandy's name wrong. Maybe I put in my name wrong, and I'm like, oh, Nick's test Slack account. That sounds really, really formal. I just want to do Nick's Slack. Great. Next, I want to enter a password. Of course, it's going to guide you to be safe and robust. And I'm going, okay, great. And it's okay to send me emails about Slack. Great. I'm there. That was easy. Next, it actually gives you some tips to start using Slack. It says, gosh, next, why don't you try and send a message? What you can see before I even click the get started, you can already see that we have a number of channels set up in our Slack instance, in our workspace. And we've structured it so that we can understand the different pieces of our club and how we're functioning. We have a number of committees: membership, online social, we have service, we have coffee with a Rotarian, which we can explain if anybody has any questions, and a number of other things, including eClub cats, which is a fun way for us to, a number of us have cats who we love and also wake us up in the middle of the night. So we want to make sure to share fun pictures of them. So we've got this, and it says, great, send a message. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, it's posted here, and it's going to say, send a message to your team to let them know you're here. I'm going to say, hi, General. I'm going to say, hi, channels, I think is what it is. If you want to notify everybody, you can actually just say, oh, okay, how about hi, Ferheen and Sandy, and Sandy. And you'll notice I'm using some things that allow me to say, that allow it to notify Ferheen and Sandy that they're there. It says, hi, Ferheen and Sandy, I've joined the Slack group.
And the default is that you are already a part of the general and the random channels. That's
and those are by default, yeah.
Yep.
And so, great.
And I just got a notification that says from Nick's Slack.
And so the key here is that now that they've been notified, there are other things that I can do, and it's going to suggest a number of things. Great, I need to add a profile photo. Why do I want to do that? Mainly so that everybody can kind of see. I find it very helpful. Let me see, I can browse my files here and find a really good photo that, you know, maybe I like the fact that I am working from home, and so during crazy times, and I can upload my photo and go, how do I want this to work? That looks great.
Perfect.
Very exciting. And so I'm going to save that photo, and that way, whenever my message pops up, part of what you can see is that you are able to get to know me and know, oh yeah, that's Nick. Oh, that's Fiaco. Oh, that's Sandy. And then it just walks me through a couple of other steps, which I love. A good program needs to be easy to use, and one of the reasons we've chosen Slack is because of its ease of use. So what do I want to join? Well, let's wonder. I actually know that I've joined our club because of the programs. One of the things I love about our eClub is that the programs inspire me every week, and so I want to actually join the programs, and I can click the join button. This allows me to be in the program, and we've actually screenshotted previous recordings where we had a recording on April 19th for Bud McKenzie, and then another one for Heather Lenny, and both of these are going to come in our weekly meetings. And now that I've joined, that doesn't mean that I'm actually joined within the programs committee, but we are wanting to move everybody to communicating for the committee when they're not doing it live in a Zoom call like this. We would love for them to do it in the programs committee. And that way, next time, you can see that Ferheen didn't get to join the Heather Lenny recording, but she asked, woohoo, how did it go? So
No one responded back, but that's okay.
that's okay. But that's actually might be where you'd be like, oh, you know what? Farheen and I might have been talking about something else, so I might have done that in the private channel. So then what are the other things you can do with Slack? One of the best things is right now, I've been navigating this through Chrome or whatever your web browser is. You can go and download the Slack for whatever operating system you're using, Slack for Windows or Slack for Mac, or also Slack on your device. So I can download that. Great, super simple. I'm excited for that. And while that's working, we can step through the other aspects of. It's fancy. Has a nice little splash screen. And now that we've done all these things, now we can talk about other different aspects of the of Slack. You'll see here that it shows up again to click sign in. It actually opened up the web page again for me to sign in, and I'll show you this so that everybody can see. It popped up popped up the Slack workspace. It says, "Hey, what's your Slack workspace?" Because one of the other things is that if you're already familiar with Slack, you might find that you are a member of multiple Slacks. Ferheen and I are members of a podcast Slack that we didn't know we were both part of, but it ended up being that we saw that we were, and so we can log into multiple Slack workspaces and you can navigate between them. So be assured that if you're using it for work or for other reasons, you can always stay connected and switch between them. So great. I have already installed it. It's in dark mode because I use dark mode on my computer, and now I can close this out because I've already done this, and I want to stay with my other Slacks. It's guided me through another things. I'm not going to connect to Google Drive right now, but I do want to keep going in our agenda and talk about really other things. Sandy or Ferheen, do you have anything else you'd want to add about initial setup of Slack?
No, that's all for now. Yeah.
I'll do one other, which is let me send a direct message.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about sending direct message, so if I'm going to click the plus button, I'm going to say, oh great, I want to send a note to Ferheen and Sandy at the same time. The cool thing is it's not just one-on-one, it can be a couple of people, and you can say, great, hi Ferheen and Sandy, what's our next service project? I can't remember. This allows us to communicate quickly, and I get this on my phone, I get this on my computer, and of course in the age of notifications, maybe you want to mute it here and there, and we can talk about that as we go along as well. Cool.
So to talk a little bit about these direct messages, as you can see right now, you have, again, that Slack bot, you have your personal, Nick Slacks, you can send yourself messages. And then because myself and Sandy were added, you see us. But if you click on that plus again.
This one?
No, not that one. The one that's next to direct messages.
Yep.
You can basically search any single club member as long as they have been invited. So for example, let's say you want to message Sviatko. Let's say you have a question about, something related to his role, right? So you can go ahead and send him a private message, especially, let's say, for example, this is not something that needs, official email communication. Maybe it's something like, hey, Sviatko, are you awake? Right? Because time zones. So something as simple as, well, hold on, but here's the cool thing. It actually even tells you what time it is. It says it's 11:30 p.m. for Sviatko, right? Isn't that cool? So this is a really great way to be able to, again, communicate with members of our club that's not as formal as email is. And email, again, can get really lost, especially if you're kind of doing other things. And let's say, again, you just want to chat with them. This is the best way to do it.
And I'll say I won't send this to him because it is 11:30 at night. So.
That's true. We don't want to wake them up. So yeah, so please go ahead when you're creating you're customizing your Slack, go ahead and start adding the people that of course that you talk to often, but also just anyone you want to connect with. So I'm not sure, is there a limit as to how many people can go on the list?
No, the limit is your club. Inherently, Slack wants us to communicate with each of our members, each of the people in your workspace. If that's your work, that can get quite large. And for us, obviously, we are around the 50 member mark right at this moment, and it shouldn't be a big deal. But it always is about, if you can't see it right there, you can always press that plus button again.
Well, awesome, thanks.
So one of the other things I wanted to just point out is that notifications are something that some people don't want. I do want to encourage at least direct notifications. You can set up a do not disturb and set yourself as away. One of the other things that you can do is, once I'm in a channel, I can set up and find the details about how I want to see the messages. And this is where I have to figure it out myself. So I can right click on this and find different options, and I can leave the channel, because if you find that the channel isn't useful for you, you can always leave it. I can mute the channel so I don't get any notifications. I can star it because it's one of the most important ones. And there are other ways to set up and learn about the different notifications. So you'll see here, just so I can repeat what I did to navigate here. I'm in the channel. I went to details. Under the details, I went to more. This one I find to be very useful. For some channels, I might want every new message to tell me, hey, someone's written anything. eClub Cats, for instance. I would love to be notified anytime anybody gets. In fact, let's change it on eClub Cats. I've never joined eClub Cats as this person. So let's join first. Again, that was super easy. And then I want to get every new message, because there's a couple of different options here. I can get no notifications whatsoever. I can get just mentions that include me specifically, Nick's Slack, and I can also include or not include channel. And those notifications send a notification to everybody who has joined the channel. They would get a notification. In this case, I want to see a picture of Ferheen's or Rory's or Rushton's cat every time. So there you go. And what's cool, it's really quite important for those who care, is using different settings for mobile devices. Because I quite don't do notifications on my mobile, but I might do it on my desktop instead. So there you go. So those are some of the big pieces. We wanted to cover off the general navigation today. We wanted to cover off that it's very important to us that we stay connected, and we believe that Slack is one of those things. Are there other comments, Ferheen or Sandy, that you'd like to have?
Something that I think is also really cool about these channels, for the most part, is that you can look back at the institutional history. So for example, Nick, if you scroll all the way up to the beginning of eClub Cats, you will see all of the cats pictures that have been posted. So yep. This is great, because then you know who all the cats are.
It's true.
But again, I mean, yes, we're joking with this eClub Cats, but I think that this is especially important for things like committees, right? So for example, if we go to the membership committee, right? Let's say if I'm a brand new member and I am, really interested in the membership committee, but I don't really know what they do, I can go to this channel and just kind of read through the history of what this channel, what this committee did, right? So you can see cute little pictures of us, reading articles. And yeah, so again, isn't the membership committee so cute? Missing Sandy and Roger, right? So little things like that really help, you feel a sense of community.
Yep. And I would say that the other thing to note is that one of the things we haven't said in this is when. when is Slack rolling out to our club? The answer is, at the time of this, meeting being our presentation for the week's meeting of the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley, the answer is now. We want you, if you haven't already gotten an invitation to sign up, we want you to sign up now. If you haven't gotten an email, please let Ferheen and Nick and Sandy know. We are going to be point on this, mainly Ferheen and Nick, and we're going to help guide you through this. We're here to encourage and help everybody along the way, and it's quite important that we don't leave anybody behind, because we want every one of our members to participate and be excited about a new opportunity to connect.
Yeah, but I also just want to make sure you all know, though, that technically the board voted that this will be officially adopted July 1st. So as of July 1st, all non-official communications will be through Slack, which means that if you are not on Slack by July 1st, you might miss really, really important things. So, you know, these next few months are going to be kind of that trial period so that you get used to Slack. You have your notifications, you're connecting to people.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, when July 1st hits, when the new Rotary year starts, please make sure that you're already on Slack, because again, this is where the majority of our communications will go.
Yep. And so with that, Sandy, did you have any questions? Did you find your email? Did you find a way to log in?
No, I did not. I could not find my invitation, and I checked my spam folder also. But I just think that as a new person using Slack, I think this is a great program, because we get so much email, and right now, because our elections are coming, it seems like every candidate in every state is asking for money, and I don't know how they get through, but I think it's like sometimes we get email overload. So this will be nice that we have something specific just for our club. It's only going to be information about our club, and I think it's going to be brilliant. So
Agreed.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to questions that we get, and that actually leads us to let us know what you think. If you below in the meeting, we have a discuss section, and that allows you to comment and ask questions there, and you can always just email us questions through the board emails, and generally just ask us questions. We really want you to take a moment to add to the conversation. For everybody who is not an eClub of Silicon Valley member, if you're a Rotarian guest, please make sure to fill out the attendance section. You actually can get a receipt if you put in your email address, so that you can pass that on to your club secretary as a makeup. And if you are a club that doesn't use Slack and is interested in trying to test this out, let us know that too, because I would love to help more clubs get through this. As in the time of COVID, and many of our Rotary clubs have gone to Zoom meetings, all of our members have individually know clubs that they've helped get through this odd transition for everything. So this is just another opportunity for us to try it out and try new tools that hopefully allow us to stay connected. Any other final questions or comments for Ferheen or Sandy?
No, thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
good job.
Thanks very much.